Now things are getting a bit better. I apologize. I tried to come in a bit sooner, but unfortunately there was an issue here with my settings, so I apologize for this small delay. I am just here fixing one final thing. If you give me 1 second, because I've just done a stream of 25 seconds, so I'm actually just cleaning it up a little bit. Um, in any case, guys, let me know if you can see me well. Hopefully, yes. Uh, Once again, I apologize for this issue. And let's kick it off. So once again, guys, thank you very much for being here. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping a like and subscribe. As you know, that's the only thing that I ask. And I hope to see a lot of you guys here. But in any case, if I don't, I hope to see you, listening in and watching the live stream maybe a bit later. We are at 668 subscribers, which is great. We are approaching that 700 mark. I do think that hello Scott, nice to see you here. I see the mood of everybody has improved. I get it. The crypto market has had very nice developments. Hopefully, if you've been here for quite some time, you know exactly what I was expecting and when I was expecting. But let's kickstart a little bit with something broader. So, as I mentioned, this is a major week. We have a lot of earnings coming out. As you know, the market is very heavy on a few tech names. One of them, Alphabet, did not do very well on some of their cloud business. And also people say, oh yeah, that's what's dragging down the markets. In my opinion, it's not. It's the fact that the bond market is selling off quite aggressively once again. As I mentioned that before, the bond market will dictate ultimately more or less where the stock market is going to move. Now, very importantly, I did say something, and it needs to be repeated here, which is we have been in this sideways movement between typically 4350 to 4550 on the S&P 500. Occasionally we go to the 4600 and occasionally we go to the 4200. Sometimes for a few days we are a bit above, like last time we were 4625 or so, and as of late we today crossed below 4200. It's not a major issue yet, but the longer we stay here, the worse it becomes. So it needs to be said. I do think that there's still some uncertainty going around with the Fed's next step. I do think they will be cutting rates starting late Q1 2024, early Q2 2024. Reason for it is quite simple, is that all the economists now predict that there's not going to be any recession. The Fed is convinced that recession fears are over. Goldman Sachs is convinced there's no recession, which tells me that it's more likely that we're going to have some sort of recession. Furthermore, they need a good excuse to drop rates. Why? Because it's an election year. And the election years always need to be green. Just go look back in history and you'll see exactly what I mean. I mean, maybe this is not going to be the case. Who knows? But the truth is, sorry guys, the truth is we will be you're betting in something that usually never happens, which is a big sell downs in election years. I don't think that's reasonable, but again, we have a couple of potential black swan events out there, being, of course, the situation in the Middle East that everybody's aware, but more importantly, not importantly in terms of human lives, but more importantly in terms of the markets, is the bond market. So once again, Harry Dent must not be very happy with all the issues that has been seen on the bond market, on TLT. Don't forget that he keeps pumping people to go and buy TLT, so I get the feeling that they will not be doing that well. But I do still think we are still can make those new all-time highs on the S&P, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq 100 by late Q1 2024. We'll see if I'm right. So far, the oil trade, the oil top is still in play. And tomorrow we are going to see the PCE, which is the Fed's favorite inflation metric. Oh, by the way, Aftermath, welcome. By the way, guys, don't forget, when you come in, please drop that like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And if you guys have some questions for me, some comments, just let me know. And once again, I apologize for the late start, but there's been some issues around here. But in any case, I think this is the setup on the stock market. Nasdaq is leading the way down. For the first time, it's been extremely strong. Still, we are very strong on the year. By the way, it's also important to say we are almost at the end of the month of October, which is always very gibberish for the stock market because it's considered the crash month. So the month where big sell-offs and big crashes tend to happen. And hello, Max. Welcome. And those crashes tend to happen in October, 2008, 1929, 1987, all of these very famous crashes in the month. So there's always a bit of scare around that. So pay attention to it. Once again, unfortunately, we have a few outliers over there. We have bank runs in China. So China is struggling. It's one of my macro predictions when everybody was saying, oh yeah, no, China will take over the world. And now that they're going to open after the shutdowns, it's going to be, it's going to overtake the world. So yeah, I don't think so. I've seen this story before with Japan. And that was my feeling that was not going to happen. And so far, they've been having a lot of issues. In the US, it's all about the inflation numbers, I guess. For tomorrow, PCE, favorite Fed's measurement. If it comes softer than expected, I think it's going to be positive. I think if it comes a bit hotter, it's not going to be the end of the world. If it comes very much hotter than expected, then I think it's going to have some bad effects. I mean, there's no other way around it. What else? We have Facebook after the bell rings. We still have something like 600 earnings to go through, so a bunch of them. Russell is still struggling. It's filled with zombie companies that are just existing for the pure reason of low interest rates in the past. So that's about it. But okay, guys, having looked at it, we are in our own cycle, which is the crypto cycle. By the way, very importantly, green September, everything indicates it's going to be a green October, which means that this feels very much like 2015. So in case you guys want to see what happened in that cycle, go back to 2015 and check it. I also made a bit of a different prediction for quarter four, which is Bitcoin to overperform Ethereum. At the moment, that has been clear as day. I don't know why, but every recovery year, I don't know why. So we have the bear market, 2014, 2018, 2022. We have the recovery year, 2015, 2019, 2023. For some reason, quarter four of the year before the halving, Bitcoin in quarter four outperforms Ethereum, and the first 2 months of the year, January and February, Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. The reason being, I think that the gains have been largely done on Bitcoin in the quarter four. So people start to go into Ethereum, and then from Ethereum to the altcoins, and then late March or beginning of April, you have the halving, which is typically a big sell-off event. So people buy into the halving, and then they sell during the halving. In this case, I think it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with spot ETFs. We'll see. I think so what I think is going to happen is something like this. I guess that now everybody has understood that the ETF is coming, and it's not going to be just one, it's going to be multiple. What I think is going to happen is the first one will be very bullish, the second one will be bullish but less, the third one will be bullish but less, so on until you get to a point nobody cares. A little bit like with the inflation numbers, right? The first one are very important, the second month, the third month, and as more and more and more you see this inflation stuff, the less impact it has on the markets. Same thing with rate hikes, same thing with the time when we had the disease. Every time that there was some negative news coming out, it's the same thing. Both up or down, doesn't really matter. You always have less impact as things get repeated. Now, what I think is going to happen also, and this is important to say. So this is the announcement section, okay? Very importantly. I think what's going to happen is by the time we actually launch those ETFs, those are going to be big sell the news events. That's my feeling. And the reason why I think that, well, just look at Coinbase IPO. Same thing. Just look at Bitcoin futures back in 2017. It actually marked the top. The day of the launch of the future marked the top. And the question, and the answer, and the reason why is very simple, is because everybody is already in for the move. Everybody is aware of it. And a lot of people are actually have their money locked for a few months on Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So if it converts into an ETF, now they can sell. I mean, a lot of these people have been holding for months and months, some of them even years. So this is something that needs to be said, huh? Nobody wants to hear it. Everybody wants to say, oh my God, no, we're going to go straight to $1 million Bitcoin. Look, man, there's nobody in the world that wants $1 million Bitcoin more than me, because that means that my retirement bags are exploding. Okay, so I would be the guy wanting for the $1 million Bitcoin more than everybody else. But I also need to be realistic and need to be honest on these things, because I've seen a lot of people get trapped because they are waiting for that price that's going to showcase $1 million in your wallet, and you're waiting for it, and some people hold on too long, and before they know it, they are in the next bear market and they've lost their edge. So this has happened many times, so it's important also to be honest. But I'm extremely excited. You know, when I created the channel, when I was actually to create it a bit earlier, but I didn't. But in any case, I created in June, right? So this was a period where crypto was going nowhere. This was a period of sideways movement, the most boring price action you're going to see. You had SEC going after coins, including my own, went after all of them. You had all of these things, like everything seemed that it was going wrong or actually not going anywhere. Crypto was finished. Nobody was Googling about crypto, Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. And I was here doing the work, revisit crypto basics. The bull will come. This is the time, in my opinion, this is what I did, to accumulate, to position, to buy it. This is what I did. I didn't give anybody financial advice, but I was broadcasting to the world for the people that have been here for longer. I was actually highly focused on accumulating and increasing my position as much as possible, because I knew that by the end, or I felt very comfortable that by the end of the year, we're going to start seeing the crypto cycle repeating once again. You see, one thing is to look back in time and analyze the cycle. Oh, here it goes, it dropped this and it dropped that and the other ones fell. Okay, then we had 3 months of sideways movement, and we have 3 weeks where the price was between, let's say, 5,200, 5,400, right? Oh, okay. One thing is to see it like this. The other thing is actually to live it. And to live it is painful. And I mean, believe me, sometimes I also didn't want to come here and talk about it, but I thought, no, I believe in the industry. I do think this is the best shot for average people to create generational, or at least financial independence type of wealth. And I did believe that the industry was going to get better, and it was a matter of time before institutional money also came in. And by the way, everyone is aware of BlackRock spot ETF. Very few people know that BlackRock is actually buying 4 of the 5 mining pools of Bitcoin. So what they want to do, once again, oh, by the way, Max, you want to laugh? You already did that. By the way, in case you guys didn't see, Max got this comment. I'm waiting for Kramer to say Bitcoin is going down, then I'm going to unload my cash. He already did it. He said something like this on October 12th or October 13th. I do not trust Bitcoin crypto when the big daddy is gonna have such a brutal beatdown. He said this October 12th or something. From the day he said it up until now, we are up 30 something percent. That guy is crazy. That guy is completely, I mean, it's amazing how bad he is. But again, this is the kind of things you want to see. One of my videos actually about 3 weeks ago, because I mean, I don't have time to be watching this clown all day long. But one of the things that I said is bottom signals or signals that we're about to ramp up is when you see Jim Cramer talking again about Bitcoin, Cardanzo, right? Thank you, Cramer. Cardanzo, do you know that one? I know Cardano, but Cardanzo is what that clown was talking about. And what I was looking at, I actually caught a little bit where he was saying, I was watching the other day, somebody made this comment, I think on Twitter, please forgive me, I don't remember, but it was basically Jim Cramer talking about how crypto, he didn't trust it, and how Bitcoin was going to have a huge fall down. Literally, from the minute he said it, or the day he said it, up until now, it's been a 30-something% on Bitcoin straight up. I mean, the guy is shockingly accurate on this. I mean, for example, do you know in the beginning of the year, because most people forgot about this, the banks that he picked for the year, that Jim Cramer picked for the year as the top performers, were the 2 banks that went bankrupt in the US. Can you believe this? I mean, SVB and crap, I don't remember the name of the other one. But it was amazing. Out of thousands of banks in the US, Jim Cramer had top picks for 2. And the 2 of them went bankrupt. I mean, look, man, if really there's a matrix, I think that guy is just testing how much we believe in the matrix or not, or how much, or how many things can happen before we actually believe in the matrix. It's impossible. I mean, that is like hitting the lottery. I mean, that guy is amazing. Amazing. Like his top picks were the 2 banks that went bankrupt. I mean, out of, I think there are like 4,000 banks in the US. It's crazy. Yeah, Max Cat, I mean, but by the way, a very good top signal will be when he completely flip-flops on crypto and is super bullish and he thinks crypto is going to dominate the world. That's probably we are at the top. So sorry to say that, guys. Yeah, just like before, he was all in Bitcoin in late October 2021, and he was explaining how Bitcoin and crypto could potentially replace fiat currencies and the dollar, and countries would use it as reserves. 1 week later, we hit the top. So be very careful when you start to hear things like that. By the way, sorry, X-Blind is here. I missed him. X-Blind, caught alive. When the time comes, does it matter what stable you use to off-ramp? Your recommendation, my RH bags packed. Oh, that's the Richard Art ecosystem. Look, guys, I don't make any recommendations. So for the newcomers, I should do a better job at this because I don't. So I created this channel because I have a lot of experience on the financial industry, dealt with investments across anything you can imagine. I've messed with, and to me, crypto is the best to create generational wealth for average people. This is my opinion, okay? And one of the main purpose of my channel is to broadcast my journey. And one of the reasons why I wear the mask is because it doesn't matter who I am. I'm just like anybody like you. It matters what I'm saying. It doesn't matter who I am. That is the point. So I'm not here to be a leader of anything, to be whatever. I was actually going to go to the Richard Art ecosystem because basically those are my crypto retirement bags, and those have outperformed everything. So that is something to be that I'm going to discuss a bit later. In terms of which stables, look, there's always a lot of FUD about Tether, but the reality is that Tether has managed to handle, billions of dollars in redemptions in one single day. Okay. Now, as a matter of principle, I like to avoid companies where it's hard to go after them because they're not in the US, for example. So at least USDC is in the US. See what I mean? So it's easy to go after them. I would say probably the best one that I like is DAI, DAI. It's backed. It's not ideal. It's backed by USDC. So to some degree you have some level of counterparty risk. I think Richard Hart will be launching eventually a stablecoin. That's my opinion. I don't know if he's going to do it or not, but then I would look at it. But yeah, USDC, DAI, they've survived a few bear markets now. There was a depegging of USDC last year for a short period. I didn't buy it, that it was something like USD. I hate algorithm-backed coins. I think those are terrible. I do think probably DAI would be my best, but also because it's the stable coin with more liquidity in the Richard Hart ecosystem. So guys, on the Richard Hart stuff, as you've known, I've mentioned this many times. I've updated my cost average in the past in all the coins of the Richard Hart ecosystem. So I have a few lottery tickets. So these are coins that I don't really believe them that much. So I have them. If they do very well, fine. I'm very happy. If they turn out to be like a Pepe, I'm going to be extremely happy. If they don't, it's also not a big deal. But to me, I had Pulse Chain, which is the fork of Ethereum. I had PulseX, which is a much better Uniswap. Particularly, by the way, Uniswap is trying to bring in KYC, which means fake DeFi. By the way, those guys are banning certain projects from their platform when they allow other projects that are proven rug pulls, proven scams, and actually this type of magnificent projects where you can only buy, and when you try to sell your coins, it's actually impossible to sell. So those are the same DeFi guys. So be careful because the majority of DeFi is actually fake DeFi. And what we've been seeing, so in case you guys don't know, Richard Hart and his coins were targeted by the SEC. Then, of course, with the XRP lawsuit, where basically the SEC dropped the accusations against the founders, it gave a lot of expectancy that that's going to happen. The same thing with Richard Hart in November. So I think it's November 10, November 12, something like that. There's going to be a hearing, or there was going to be a hearing. I get the feeling that it's a matter of time that the SEC charges are dropped. In any case, even if they aren't, but call me a Nostradamus, whatever. That's my opinion. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. And what I think is going to happen is we're probably going to see a big push on the entire ecosystem, and because X is going up so much. So for you to have an idea, so X is up almost 300%. X on Ethereum is up almost 300% in a little bit more than a week. Pulse Chain is up something like 70%. PulseX is up something like 95%. So all of them performing very well, but also eDrone is now above, but that's different founder. It's a derivative product on X, but it's different founder. It's up something like 120%, and Icosa is also up something like 100%. So those are my retirement bags. Everybody knows. I've talked about them when it was not popular to talk about that, when they were very difficult to talk about it, when they were doing nothing, either sideways movement or down movement and targeted by the SEC. So that's when I accumulated the most. I kept convinced. I kept my conviction on the project, on the ecosystem very strong. And now I hope to be positioned for the upcoming bull market. In terms of wallet in 2024, this is something I need to look at very carefully. I've been hearing a little bit about some of the new wallets. I've heard very good things about the Rabbi wallet, for example, but I to be honest, I haven't had the time to delve into it in depth. I do have cold storage, of course. I do think Treasury I do think the ledger is not as good as it used to be because there's an upgrade that can potentially create a backdoor security issue. They've said that they fixed it. I don't know. To be honest, for my position right now, my setup is good enough, which is MetaMask plus Ledger, but I will probably be updating it for the upcoming year, particularly as MetaMask is controlled by JP Morgan. So basically, you're being spied on. So that's something that I don't like. I mean, from a security issue, there's no issue. It's mostly from a privacy issue, there is an issue. So, I mean, it depends a bit on your situation. I mean, how much do you value these things? Do you value privacy, yes or not? Maybe some people, they don't care, It depends a little bit, but wish I could super chat. No, thank you very much, I explained. Look, guys, what I've asked is only thing is like and subscribe, and maybe I'm going to go a little bit further and say, look, guys, if you see that what I've been saying has been pretty much happening, if you think that I actually bring good content and good information to you, try, sending the video to a couple of your friends, whatever, or ask them to join a live stream. To me, that's very important. But by the way, I'm not so far away from getting monetized, actually, if I want. I think I need 1,000 subs. This is how much I grief people. I barely know the requirements. I think it's something like 1,000 subs, right? And then it's linked with watchtowers. So I think I need something like 4,000 watchtowers. I think I have something like 2.2. So I'm a bit more than half. But look, guys, I started the channel 13. I started a bit early, but my first video was 13th of June. So in that sense, I think there's been a lot of development. So I thank you all, guys. And by the way, I really like, because our community has been growing and it's full of very nice people. I mean, I can tell you my average like ratio, something like 95% or so, which is extremely high. And I am yet to experience really bad comments or anything like that. So you guys have been great. And I really appreciate all your support. Now, I do think, so going a little bit out of here, I do think that the best is yet to come on the crypto side. We also need to be a bit careful in the sense that, people get completely crazy when the euphoric moments will come, and it's a matter of time before they do come. And you need to also be very careful because, for example, I'll give you this example. This guy, Meet Kevin, he used to be very quiet on crypto. He didn't say anything about crypto for months and months. He lost hope, he lost faith, lost all of it. As soon as Bitcoin pumps, all of a sudden the specialist, the expert, the guy full of theories is now back again. So unfortunately, this is the world we live in. It will not change. It's just the way it is. And you guys need to be very careful because these people on YouTube, as we move deeper into the bull market, will pop up increasingly more. Now, I do think we may sell off a little bit on Bitcoin until the 31,800. to 31,800 to 32,000, depends a bit on the exchange. So, and then we should be running up nicely into the end of the year. I did have a prediction in the beginning of the channel, which was Bitcoin 35,000 by end of the year. I was wrong. It was actually in October. So we got there a bit quicker, but I got the direction correct. Yes, meet Kevin, the FTX ambassador. Yeah, no, him and his pals were the big guys that were getting these huge sponsorships from FTX. I think they were getting paid huge amounts of money per month. But this is what I meant. So many of these guys come on YouTube, right? And they develop an audience and they talk about something which is very popular, like crypto, like Tesla, like whatever. And they become very well known. Okay? Then so because they all read the same books about managing wealth and all of these things, they start creating sources of passive income. That means courses, private groups, discords, special membership to a group, Patreons, you name it. That's how they start. And then all of a sudden, you just need a bear market and sponsorships and referral links and all of this. All these sponsorships and referral links, more likely than not, destroy you, destroy that audience. See, but they don't care because they get paid. And then if the whole thing collapses, they can make videos about it and then get paid on the ad revenue. So for them, it's always fine. They make a mea culpa video, they cry about it, they do everything. And one of the things that made me look like Richard Hart at the time was in 2021, Richard Hart, 2021, remember, the heart of the bull, these companies are going to overtake the world. He said, take your money out of BlockFi, out of Celsius, out of FTX, because in the bear market, those companies are going to go bankrupt. Get out of their staking programs and their rewards, whatever. Take control of your own coins. And he said, not your keys, not your coins. You are picking up, what he said was, you're picking up pennies in front of freight trains. And one of these days, when the bear market comes, you're going to see that these guys are all swimming naked. And what happened? FTX, Celsius, BlockFi, bankrupt. That's one of the first times that I really, okay, this guy, may dress full of Gucci with the Lamborghinis and all this, and the rings and the watches and all of these things. But this guy is actually, if you ignore that and you just listen to what he's saying, he says a lot of things that end up happening. I mean, very clear. And he said it at the time that it was not popular to say. You see, you need to understand, when things go wrong, everyone is an historian. You see, oh yeah, it's so obvious the market was going to go down. Oh, it's so obvious that this was going to happen. It's so obvious that the real estate was overheated. Everything is so obvious after the fact. You see, the key is when things are up and running, is for you to come out and explain what's going to happen before it happens to a high level of degree. See, Peter Schiff, he gave the impression to everybody that he knew what he was talking about, because he predicted the 2008 real estate crisis. But if you actually look before that and after that, he predicted everything completely wrong. Completely wrong. I mean, 100% wrong. It's terrible. It's completely terrible. However, he gained popularity by being accurate in one single time. And that's unfortunately the issue. And you see that on YouTube all the time. And you're going to see a lot of it. So I hope, guys, if you've been following me from the start, you guys already know what to expect. You guys already know the little tricks. You already know that these guys are here to make money out of you. See, they don't make money on their investments. They don't make money on crypto. They don't make money on anything. They make money out of you. That's it. That's all they care about. So don't get it wrong. You are their source of passive income. Never forget. By the way, guys, if you're coming a bit later, consider dropping that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel, as you very well know. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know. Otherwise, I think I will call it quits. It's time to relax a bit. I think it's time Thank you very much, Max. I really appreciate that nice comment. I think it's important that we understand where we are in the cycle. The cycle is just repeating. One thing is to live it, the other thing is to study it. It's a little bit like when you read when you were at school, you read at history classes, oh, these countries fought for 10 years and they did this and that and that. Yeah, one thing is to read it, the other thing is to actually be there and experience it, which is what we're doing right now. I made a huge bet on the Richard Hart ecosystem with Pulse Chain X, Pulse X, Hydron, Icosa, which is not from Richard, but it's the same ecosystem. And this is basically my journey to what I hope to be generational wealth. If not, at least financial independence. That would be already very good. So, and I do have some targets for the bull market. I've described my strategies a long time ago. For the time being, Bitcoin is holding well above 34,000. I mentioned this. This is why I was saying I want to be prepared and up and loaded right now, because I know that as we approach the Bitcoin halving, one of these days these things go up and you get left behind. Very simple. And a lot of people will be left behind waiting for God knows what. But in any case, I mean, it's their money, so they should do whatever they think is best. In my case, I have very clear strategy. And the worst part will be, I'm going to lose a ton of followers, because one day when we are deep into the bull market, deep into the euphoria, deep into all the narratives why crypto will never go down again and all of these things, I will come here and will say I'm actually de-risking and going increasingly more into stables. I'm probably going to lose half my following, something like that. But I need to be honest with everybody, and this is what I've been trying to do. Thank you very much, guys, for your support, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.